Hi everyone, I have a bit of an interesting update about a guy that is very obsessed with me and he will not stop harassing me. And I thought this was like maybe a funny and entertaining story to tell my viewers. I told my Twitch about it, but I don't know if I told my YouTube about that, so I'll give you a little bit of an update of all these crazy things that this guy has been trying to do to me for the last like 2, 3 years. Okay? Um, so for context and stuff, he lives in another country. So I'm in the United States and he's from Canada. And he thinks that we are destined to be in love together. And I don't agree with that at all. I am very much not interested in him at all. But he is so, like, mentally far gone that he is convinced. Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing. So, everyone knows how I was talking about my spiritual work and all the science that I've been doing with that. So, since I've been talking about my spiritual work, this guy who has never done psychedelics, I know this guy has never done psychedelics, and he has no idea what he's doing. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So, me, as an experienced spiritual person, like, I actually have, like, real knowledge in this. He's taking all the spiritual terms and he's just, like, misusing them to try to guilt trip me into falling in love with him, which I don't want to do. So he thinks I'm possessed by demons and I don't know that we're supposed to be in love. Which is pretty impossible because I do my regular routine clearing and cleansing with my spirituality, and there is no demon and no dark energy that wants any part of me or my house or any of my belongings, because I know what I'm doing. I'm very experienced. So I'm pretty, like, okay, and I've done the psychedelics, so I have like a higher consciousness. I'm very conscious and I'm very aware that I am not interested in this guy, okay? Um, so yeah, he's been throwing around spiritual terms to try to guilt trip me into being in love with him, and I don't like him at all. So here's a bit of a backstory with this guy. He Okay, there was one time where I was. Because, okay, here's the thing. My life is crazy. My life is a bunch of, like, stuff, okay? I don't even know how to describe it, but my life has just been a roller coaster of a nightmare. But, like, there's also, like, little fun adventures and, like, little good things in the middle of it. And, like, just a bunch of crazy things happen to me, like, all the time. So, it's a bit of an epic story. So there was this one time where I was in a really bad situation, and this guy, the guy that was obsessed with, or is obsessed with me, so at the time, he offered to allow me to borrow money from him. Now, I did pay him back, but here's the thing with that. So I knew him because he was a longtime fan of mine, and I knew him by his username, and so I started talking to him, and he's like, "Yeah, I can let you borrow money because I know you're in a horrible situation," which I did pay him back for later. So I thought that was kind of nice of him, and so we exchanged information. And we were talking for a minute because I was like, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That was like really cool." And so I got to know him a little bit, and I'm like, okay, well, he confessed that he had like a secret crush on me, which now that I look back on it, he was a little bit forward with it. He was like a little like rushing into it. It was like a little weird. Okay, so this guy that's obsessed with me, I'm gonna say it in, I guess, YouTube friendly terms. He was a little bit, brown. His skin color is darker. And, that's all I can say about that. So when he sees women, he thinks that it's okay to, like, be as aggressive as possible to get what he wants. Because I don't know, maybe that's just his culture. I'm not entirely sure. Or if this guy is just genuinely mentally ill and that has nothing to do with it. But, he was a bit forward with it, which now that I'm looking back on it, at the time I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, okay, that's cool. He's shooting his shot. But the way he did it was like kind of sudden. There wasn't like an ease into it. It wasn't like cute. But since he let me borrow money, I was like, oh, that's really nice of you. I'll give you a chance since you like me so much. And so I dated him for like a couple months. And then, since he did let me borrow money because I was in a bad situation, the money situation got a little bit strained, and he started like losing his mind, even though at that time I got like a new job and I was like, okay, I'll pay you back, it's like fine, which I did. And I paid him back a lot of money, actually, like a big like fat chunk of change. And he was like, okay, like he had a place to stay. His financial situation was pretty okay. But he could notice, oh right, when I was giving him a chance, he could notice that I was like a little bit weirded out by him, or like my attention wasn't sticking to him. Meaning, like, I was just losing interest in this guy, and I'm like, okay, maybe this is not the one for me, it's not gonna work. And so he started like having like emotional meltdowns, and I like couldn't deal with it. I'm kind of like one of those people who, okay, he would get upset about things. He would start obsessing about things that normal people don't worry about. Like, he would take like really small and minor details of like a story, and then he would blow them up and like make a big deal out of nothing, which I never liked that because I'm a very unbothered person myself. I'm like, why would you worry that bad about something that small? So I knew it wasn't like, if I have to hear this for the rest of my life, if I continue dating this guy and I allow him to get close to me like that, I'm going to be absolutely miserable. I'm not going to like this at all. So I told him very politely, I don't think we're meant for each other. Maybe we're better off with other people. And, he didn't take it well because he's been so obsessed with me, like, as a fan for like 5 years before, like, he actually talked to me. Which is like a weirdly long time to be obsessed with like an internet celebrity. I guess I'm like a micro celebrity. I'm not even that famous. But like a random person on the internet, and they don't even know you exist. And you're just like in love, obsessed with them. And you think that you're destined to be together even though there's not much of a connection there. And so I think he knows that. And so during the last 2 years where he has been like constantly harassing me, he's been trying to enforce communication because he knows I don't want to talk to him, like he knows that we don't have much of a connection, so he's trying to force one to be created. He's literally trying to force a connection. And so, I didn't like that. I'm very much not interested. So, over the last couple years, okay, so here's the crazy thing. So, he let me borrow money. I gave him the money back. And what he did with the money that I paid him back, he wasted all of that money to fly from a different country and come to my city and wait for me to come to his Airbnb, which I never did. He like kept sending me the address. He kept like begging and begging me to go over to his house that he rented. And I was like, hell no. Okay, first of all, I'm at work like all the time. I'm very focused on my career. And so I was not interested. Okay. Because at the point, okay, at that time, I knew that he does this like weird thing where he talks for hours and hours and hours and not lets anyone else speak, and then he'll have like weird he will think his whole world is crashing down by like the smallest and stupidest like little social interactions. It's weird. It's really really weird. Um so at the time where I was giving him a bit of a chance, I was on the internet researching things, and one of my teachers was like a guy. And so this crazy stalker dude, he he got so jealous that I was taking an online course from another man and I wasn't paying attention to his like weird obsessive ranting about basically nothing important for hours, and he got so upset with me that I would rather learn a skill rather than listen to his ranting, because my attention just can't go in that direction. I'm just like very much not interested in that. He he got so bad to the point where he would make brand new emails and he would make brand new like phone numbers, because when I was borrowing money, I did exchange information with him cuz I thought he was like just being cool. And then, 3 months in to me talking to him, I realized he is not mentally well. And I'm like, okay, well, it's too late. He already has my number. So he makes brand new phone numbers. Like, those like phone apps you can get, like Google Voice or whatever. He will make brand new numbers every single day. And he will text me just paragraphs and paragraphs and like 20 messages at a time, or like 50 messages at a time, of just like incoherent ranting. It's just so weird. And he's telling me, like, he's basically just talking to himself in my inbox. And for the last 2 years, I've not replied to him at all. I do not talk to him. I do not feed into this at all. But it's getting to the point where it's getting like so annoying that yeah, I'm like kind of being a little bit more assertive with my like, hey buddy, back up. Hey, like this is getting weird, because he's getting actually really bad, to the point where like he would make new accounts on social media using my username to try to get my attention. So he will make these fake accounts impersonating me, stealing my name, which was really weird because back when I was like giving him a chance for a little bit, I would like tell him about my hobbies and he would try to copy exactly everything I did. And it was like not cute, like he wanted to be involved. It was like he was stealing my personality to try to trick me into thinking that we'd belong together. But it was done in such a weird, offensive way that, like, that's not anything how I act. He, like, tried to, it was like, okay, it was like a bad parody of me. So he, like, paid attention to my personality, took all my personality traits and spit them back at me and like a in like a weird offensive way. It was like he was pretending to be me to make fun of me, but he actually meant it. So that kind of, I didn't like that one. I'm like, okay, I'm not that lame. Like, he basically was insulting and making fun of everything about me. I know, I didn't like that one at all. I kind of, if I were in a romantic relationship, I would want someone to be themselves and not, like, steal everything I do and regurgitate it back to me in a weird way, in a really weird way. So, so at this point, since I keep ignoring him, and I told him 2 years ago, hey, I'm trying to be nice about it. You seem nice or whatever, but I don't think that we are good together at all. I'm not vibing, and we should go our separate ways. And I only, like, was talking to him for 3 months, which is not a long time at all. But he said the craziest things. He said the craziest things because within those 3 months, he acted like he knew everything about me. He acted like he knew me so well, and he even, like, would just, like, come out and say things. He's the type of person to not think about how crazy he sounds before he actually says things. He's, like, really impulsive in that way. And so he's like, oh, I know everything about you. And I'm like, what? I've only talked to you for, like, 3 months, and it wasn't anything, like, crazy or anything. And so now he thinks, oh God, no. Like, this guy is very delusional. I don't think he's dangerous because he's convinced we're supposed to be in love, but it's really, really hard to describe this guy. I don't think he's, like, dangerous, but his harassment is, like, embarrassing. Like, okay, considering that his harassment and his, like, stalking behavior is getting, like, so bad to the point where I'm just gonna come out and say it. I tried being nice to you, but literally everything about this guy is embarrassing. So yeah, his harassment's getting, like, really, really bad. Like, he will make new social media accounts with my username, and, like, that was really upsetting. I'm like, oh my God, what if my, like, regular fans see this and, like, are just wondering what's going on? Nothing what he's saying is true. A lot of what he says is, like, dude, I don't know, he just, like, makes up things in his head about me and then thinks that everyone should go along with it. But I'm like, I don't even talk to you enough to tell you it's true. So he will think up the worst case possible scenario in his head that's not true at all, and then he'll go and say that it's true and that I'm an evil person and that it's my fault. Yeah, I know, it's crazy. He will literally, like, he'll take something small, like anything that I do on the internet, even if it's, like, small, even if it's not a big deal, he will come up with an entire story about something small in his head, and then he'll go completely overboard. So what else has this guy been doing? He's been editing pictures of me. He would take, like, pictures of me from my social media, and he will, make pictures of me with AI, like, doing things that I would never do. He would make pictures of me with AI of me doing things that are weird. It's so crazy. And then he'll just like send them to me all day. And I'm like, what is going on? Okay, so since I wasn't interested in his crazy ranting about nothing and his obsessions about nothing, and I wanted to like learn from another male on the internet because he was a guy, and then he got so jealous, and then he automatically assumes I am a horrible, evil person for learning something. And all of a sudden, now I am possessed with demons, and and that I am so selfish and I'm so evil because I don't want any part of this mentally ill guy's drama in my life. He's like causing way too much drama for no reason. And he's just acting weird. He's just acting weird. And plus, he's from another country, anyways. So even if I did want to date him, which I don't, even if I did, it would be so complicated and so expensive to do anything like that, then that I don't want to do that. So yeah, basically he's trying to make up fake stories. I think he also wants to post about me on Reddit to try to get like advice or like am I the asshole type of like advice, but everything that he's saying is like all made up. All because he wants to guilt trip me and make me think I'm a horrible person for not allowing this guy to basically R-word me. Oh yeah, and the weirdest thing is he will randomly get like turned on, but he does it in the weirdest way. He like tries to riz me up sometimes, and it's so bad. It's so bad. Maybe one of these days I'll come up with the receipts of the funniest things, the funniest cringe things that I've seen him say. Because he says some like pretty whack things. And you know, he's getting like he's harassing me so much. Like people should know harassment is a crime. So hopefully I can get like a restraining order. I'm hoping, but I don't know how that works if he lives in another country. But at this time, I don't really have extra money to get like a lawyer or file all the paperwork. But I would love a restraining order against this guy because his harassment is just getting too much. But he says the weirdest things. And he thinks like he's rizzing me up. He thinks that he is romantic by saying weird things. I will get together like screenshots of what he's saying, but it's just so weird. It's just so weird. And yeah, I haven't replied to anything he's saying for the last 2 years. But the interesting thing about this, the crazy thing about this, is that I will go onto PayPal and I will request him money. And he'll send me the money anyways, even though I don't talk to him. And like honestly, he's old enough to be more responsible. He's old enough to know that you shouldn't be harassing people. He's old enough to he should know better, right? He should know better. So I call it the harassment fee, the harassment tax. Yeah. So yeah, he'll send me money if I ask for it, but I don't ever like actually talk to him. And he's just stuck out there somewhere making things up in his head that aren't even true. And he's just like freaking himself out. He's like, I don't get it, but I told him he needed a therapist. I told him he needed a therapist. Yeah. What else has he done? Oh, you know, he will. Okay, what he's doing is he's trying to start a podcast of him repeating the same thing over and over and over again, basically lying about who I am. Oh, yeah, and he thinks because I was researching things on the internet that I was getting scammed and that I'm throwing all my money away. So we cannot be in love together. That's literally what he thinks. But That's not the truth at all. And he will try to like infiltrate my Discord. He tried infiltrating like he had tried like spamming the chats in my Twitch. He'll try spamming chats about like made up stories in all of my social media so all of my regular fans can like read it. It's getting a lot. Like I want to file a restraining order cuz he's just like making this hard for me. And like all my regular fans are like, what was that? What was that? And I have to explain to them this guy is very mentally ill and he's harassing me, and nothing about what he's saying is true. He's making up stories in his head about me because he's trying to manipulate me to get R worded by him. Yeah, so the most recent shenanigan he's been on, he's trying to make a podcast and he's trying to talk for hours nonstop about things he made up about me. Things that he thinks I'm doing. Oh yeah, he like sometimes I'll like skip over what he's like texting me because he makes a brand new phone number every single day. He makes a brand new email every single day. And sometimes I read through them just to like, have the cringe. Because sometimes I read them as like a joke. Like, oh, this is so cringe. It's so weird. It's so weird. And I think it's funny. It's so weird. Yeah. I forgot what I was saying with that, but... Oh, you know what he said this one time? He was like, I hope you're not using your money to go out to the club. Oh my god, he thinks we're still dating. He thinks we're dating. I'm not. He thinks we're dating after 2 years of no contact, and I told him clearly to his face. Oh, because he is so mentally ill and he is so crazy to the point where he thinks that I don't know what's good for me. He will literally sit there in his like crazy messages that he harasses with me. He harasses me with these messages every single day, and he will just start insulting me. He called me like a groupie. He called me gullible. I'm like, oh my god. He will sit there and insult me. You are so awful. You are so terrible for not being forced to marry me. Not being in a forced marriage. That I want nothing. I want no part of that. Yeah. I don't want anything to do with him. And so, yeah, he just like sits there and insults me and thinks that it would make me attracted to him. No, not really. No. No. You can't just sit there and insult everything I do to try to guilt trip me to like you. And then he'll insult my hobbies. He will insult my friends. He will insult my freaking online teachers. All because he thinks that everything in the world is standing in the way of us being together, even though I made it clear I don't want this. I do not want this. And that every male, every guy in my life that's even just a friend, that they should get away from his girl. Ew, I don't want that. But I will have screenshots at some point to show you guys how crazy this guy is. Like, it's just getting weird. He makes up the weirdest scenarios in his head and he thinks everything is true. But yeah. That's what I've been dealing with for the last 2 years. And it's getting on my nerves. So, since it is getting on my nerves, and he's been doing this for way too long, I guess we'll sit here and I'll get the screenshots together. And we can sit here and laugh at how freaking weird this guy is. the way that he forms his sentences is the weirdest shit I'd ever seen. It's so like cringy and laughable and like you wouldn't want to be me. You wouldn't want to be me right now cuz like like it's getting to that point. Usually I'm really nice, but you can't just like defame me in front of, like, I do have like a small following and I'd like to keep it that way so we can talk about things that I actually do, that I actually like to do, and not just like a bunch of weird things that a mentally ill guy made up about me. That's none of what he's saying is true. So yeah, I guess we get to laugh at this guy until he finally gets the clue that this ain't it. This ain't it. All right. I hope you guys found that interesting, and yeah, have a good night.